Good afternoon. Welcome to the tea table. I am so happy you have joined me today. And here we are. I can't believe it. We're almost to the end of July. I feel like we were just talking about the 4th of July. And now here we are. The next tea talk we will be on in August. So we have to embrace this beautiful summer. I have several things for you. I thought I would bring a lovely blue and white little tea set and my darling vase. This is my smallest vase and it's very special, and so actually I designed my tea tray because of this flower. We had a lot of roses blooming and then they went dormant, they stopped, and now we have a few starting again, and this is the candy cane rose. Isn't it? I gotta pick it up and show you closer. It is so beautiful, and my husband brought me these little buds in and they opened up. And this vase says Trieste, and it has the famous castle, Trieste, Italy. My daughter and son-in-law went to a music summer camp when they were in college in Italy, and this is what she brought me back. And it's so small, but I have it right on my kitchen sink shelf looking out at my window, and this is the vase when I have a very small, delicate flower like this gorgeous, oh my goodness. And they smell, and it's called the candy cane rose. I think roses are beyond. They survive everything. Well, because that's blue and white, I brought a special cup that's blue. I have two of these, but I brought one because two wouldn't fit. It's called Flow Blue, and it's very old, and the markings, if you can see, they're very, very old. It's England, but years ago in the factory, when the cobalt blue was such a favorite, they had a mistake and the blue started flowing together. And then everyone said, oh my goodness, look how beautiful. It became very valuable. It's a very valuable cup. Anything, if you see Flow Blue, and I have a pot, blue and gold pot, and I have the strongest tea. It's called Tetley Bold from Canada. And then I thought I'll use my little Russian creamer from St. Petersburg. And I didn't have milk today, so I'm using half and half, which I'm not crazy about for tea, but it'll work. You don't need as much. Well, when I lived in England and I was invited into people's homes for tea, and this could be summer or winter, in England they always have the green grocers in the middle of all the little towns, and they almost always have cucumber. So I put this on a darling little pink pedestal tray. I just added a napkin for fun, and I added a doily, just an idea. See, to make the tray just a little more special. It's pretty by itself too. And then I have a saucer, and I made you tuna, cucumber sandwiches. Now often they will have just cream cheese and cucumber, or a little cheese and cucumber, or just plain cucumber. And I think it's because in England during the war, people were so poor, they didn't have meat and they had to make do, and they always seemed to have cucumbers. When I went to the green market in England, we would call it a farmer's market here, but it's all year long. Very cheap. cucumbers, carrots, and oh my goodness, cabbage, and the little Brussels sprouts, which they love. They grow so wonderfully there. And so let's try our tea. Oh my word, that's going to save the day for me. And I brought this wonderful tin. It's one of my favorite tins. It's an old vintage. It's Queen Elizabeth when she was first. Well, this may be Queen Elizabeth the Second, of course. And I don't know if this was for her 25th. She stayed so young looking. And then this is her husband, of course, Prince Philip. And you know, we had them forever with us. And suddenly, they're both gone. They have the crown on top. And this tin, I really like it. And I put my Tetley tea in it. The Tetley Strong comes in round bags. And I like that. Well, I hope this lighting is all right out here. I've been busy this week. I made something very special and I brought it to the tea table. I made freezer jam, raspberry, and it's got the ice on it. So I apologize, but I pulled it out of my freezer to show you. Raspberry, I made 2 batches of raspberries and I think 3 batches of wonderful Marionberry. And I'm going to show you, I just was desperate for jars and I went looking through my house and I needed some small jars. Well, I found this, and this had been, you know, I had herbs in there from Trader Joe's, Provence, and keep those little jars. It just makes the cutest. I couldn't get the label off, so I thought, well, we'll just leave the label on. But when I finished my jam, I felt so happy. I lined my jars up on the table in my kitchen table and took a picture. And there is nothing more rewarding than canning or making preserves or freezer jam. And freezer jam with these type of berries, it's the easiest because you don't have to trim them or peel them. Marionberries and strawberry and raspberries you just smash. Now I have some strawberries in my freezer that I got that I'm going to make, and I've already cleaned them. But they're a little more work because you have to take, of course, the stem off. Oh, now a bee is coming, but the bee smells this tuna. Oh my, it smells so good. And the bread I have it on is the most wonderful bread. It is called from the Blue Heron Bakery in Olympia, and it's called sourdough rye walnut bread, and it is 1 piece. In fact, I always toast it because it's such a heavy bread. You just need maybe half a piece, and it's extremely satisfying and healthy. You feel so good. Well, for show and tell, I brought a little purse, and it has elephants. Black and gold satin with touches of red, and I thought I wanted to wear just something different today, and so I went and found a gold dress. This is gold and black, and a gold scarf with black touches, and I've worn this dress to weddings and different events. It's a fun dress. And I thought I'll just put a simple straw with black hat on to complement. I hope you like it. Well, I'm going to share with you something. I've had a busy morning. I had a traumatic morning, I will be honest. And I'm going to give all of you a warning, and you already probably know. We have to be so careful of our phones because there are so many scams. Well, on my phone, up popped a text and it said, Apple someone is trying to use your Apple account and they are trying to make a $200 purchase in Sacramento, California. If you are not that person, push this number. Well, I made the mistake. I should not have pushed the number because it's a scam. And I got a guy with a heavy accent, don't know where country it was from, and he was trying to lead me through. And then suddenly I had this feeling, this isn't right. I said, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop now. I'm just going to call my bank and I'm going to call Apple. And he didn't like that. He said, oh, no, I'll help you. He said, they already have your Social Security. He was threatening me then. And then he hung up on me. So that was a bad guy. And so I called my bank, told them what happened. They shut my cards off, my debit card, my Visa card shut off. So no one could use it, no numbers. Then I called my son and he said, you've got to call Apple and talk to them. So I called Apple, and it's good I did, because she walked me through and I had to put new passcodes on my phone because she said they probably are able to see when you put your passcode in. Isn't that crazy? So then I texted my friend Jamie and Ruth, and Jamie quickly texted back, which is so wise. She said, I've learned to ask my kids. And they say, no, Mom. And so she said, I don't respond to anything. I always ask my kids first. And so that's a good rule of thumb. Don't answer any text till you've talked to your child or a younger person that really knows what's going on. And both the banker and the Apple lady said, it's getting so much worse. They're getting so smart. They're getting into people's phones. They make everything look legit. But the Apple lady said, we would never communicate with you by text. That's the number one. Then my bank said, yes, he said, the guy said, we are having so many calls now that they make everything look so professional. So thank God I'm safe. And I had to cut off all my cards, and it's a little bit of a hassle, but thank God they didn't get anything from me. So they were trying, the method is they try to scare you so that you quickly give them information and you're kind of traumatized. So that's my word for the tea table. Be careful, all of us. And pray every day for wisdom. That's what I do. I pray for wisdom because we are in a world now that is different. Most of you remember the world that we grew up in. I mean, people would look you in the eye, and a lot of deals were made just with a handshake, and if your word was good and your bond was your word, and nobody wanted to go back on their word. So now, sadly, we're in a different time. So we have to be careful. Yes. Well, how are you? How are all of my wonderful tea people doing? What is your summer like? I just am so enjoying the beauty and the green and the lushness, and my hydrangeas have just gone crazy. I just don't want to pick them, but I think I'll next Tea Talk go out by them. I have some white hydrangeas that are this big now. I think certain years the water hits them right and the season is just right and they love it. Yes. Well, I put some little, they're not daisies, I think they're lotus blossoms in my hair, and I thought that really fits with straw and a touch of gold. Kind of, I feel like this, I could go to Paris today and have tea at a very special place and feel very happy. I don't know what Paris is like now. I haven't been there for many years, but it used to be so special. I'm sure there's still very special places and tea rooms. I know the Ritz has a high tea, and I know that Harrods in London has a fabulous high tea. And so I know that many of these traditions are going on because people want them. They want to sit down, relax, and have a cup of tea. I have a memory, a summer memory, and it's in England. I was with a group of musicians and artists called Shekinah, and there were 60 of us, 60, and we were divided, singers, dancers, musicians. I was a singer, and we had this green double-decker bus. It had been painted green, and we all fit on it, and underneath all the instruments and suitcase, pretty incredible. And we went through England singing. Actually ended up at the York Minster, did a wonderful concert there, sang at Trafalgar Square. But one of my best memories, we went through strawberry country, and I think it was the Cotswolds. It's called the Cotswolds in England. And they stopped, and we went, and there was room for all of us. There were little square tables, white linen cloth, sitting on the grass. And the ladies were serving, and each of us received what we would call a strawberry shortcake. However, it was sponge cake, wonderful strawberries. Oh my goodness, the strawberries in England, over the top. But then instead of whipped cream like we know, it was called clotted cream. And it's a clump that goes on top. And I remember sitting, and then they served us, of course, tea, lots of tea. And I thought, this is truly an English summer tea party. And that's what I was kind of thinking of today. I feel we need an English summer tea party with this wonderful Tetley black British tea, cucumber sandwiches. Now, we in Western Washington have these Marionberries, so this is Marionberry jam. But in England, they have what they call blackcurrant jam. Yes, and they have huckleberry jam. They have everything. And I was up in Scotland, and this was a different trip. I was with a different group. We stayed at the manse. The minister and his wife. The manse is the parsonage, the British name for parsonage, or the house the minister lives in next to the church. Okay, this was a little Scottish town on the sea called Port Seaton, not too far from Edinburgh. And it was Chalmers Memorial Presbyterian Church that we were being sponsored by. So the girls were all in the manse. Well, I remember coming down the steps. It was a wonderful old 12-foot ceiling wooden house from probably 200 years ago, maybe. Fabulous fireplace, just cozy and Scottish, beautiful. Well, I came in the kitchen, and in the kitchen was sitting a pie. And I said, oh my, what kind of pie is that? And they said, oh, it's gooseberry pie. Of course, Scottish accent is, I don't know if it was English or Scottish, because we were all Great Britain people there, plus some Americans. Gooseberry pie, and it was like green grapes. It looked like big round green grapes in kind of a syrupy that had dried. It didn't have a top crust. It was just a bottom crust with these wonderful gooseberries. It was delicious. And it must have taken quite a bit of sugar because it was very, very tart. And that is the only problem with tart fruit. Like, we all love rhubarb, but it takes so much sugar. I think that is why they add strawberries, so you don't have to add so much sugar. Yes. Well, I went and collected all my jars. I used every last one of them. Then I found a bag of ball, the ball jars, probably the 8 ounces, maybe 10 ounce jars. but I didn't have lids. So I went to the store and now I bought lids. So I'm going to put my strawberry jam in those jars. And I tell you, it's not hard. If you haven't done jam for a while, when you get out of practice, at least for me, it starts feeling overwhelming. How would I do it? I can't do jam. And then I started, and the whole thing, seriously, from start to finish, well, I had my jars lined up. That's a big part of it. Less than an hour. And here's this beautiful jam for winter. It will go on the table for Christmas, for Thanksgiving. All through the year, I can share with my friends and have it for tea parties. Of course, the most important reason. So I encourage you, and have a little tray of tea with your friend or by yourself. And I'm reminded that there are so many different friends and family and extended friends and people I have never met that come on this tea table. And many of you have a July birthday. And I just thought I wanted to say happy birthday to everyone that has a July birthday. My granddaughter, Cambria, had her party last Saturday, and it was so fun. A summer birthday is fun, yes. She got a big toy all put together. Oh my goodness, she loved it. And then we got her the Hot Wheel to ride around because they just put a new patio in. And so for her birthday, she got a new patio, a big toy, and all kinds of other little sweet presents. And it was so nice. And she kept saying, my birthday, she understood. She's 3, and I think she might remember this birthday. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you are having fun, and I hope you're doing something very special for yourself, for your family, and have a day trip. If you aren't going on a big vacation, I really do not like leaving Western Washington in this weather because summer is the best here. We paid the price all winter with rain, and then the sun comes, and I want to stay and enjoy it. So I think I've told you before, we like day trips, and there's a million day trips in this wonderful state, and wherever you live, there are day trips. In Western Washington, there's Mount Rainier, there's Deception Pass, there is the Pacific Ocean. Oh my, there's Lake Quinault Lodge, there's Lake Crescent Lodge, there's the Hood Canal. You probably could even go to the San Juans, but you probably want an overnight for the San Juan Islands. Oh, I feel like I'm living in the Garden of Eden. It's so beautiful. Well, for the good word today is keep going. Whatever you're dreaming and doing, don't stop. Keep going. And my early morning, I read a little daily light from the scripture every morning. And it was, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you can say unto this mountain, be removed, and it shall be cast into the sea. That's a really powerful word. That's the word of Jesus. So if you have something, a mountain, in your life, something blocking you, ask God to take it away, cast it into his sea of forgetfulness, and go forward on a smooth, good, happy path. Yes. Okay. Thanks so much. I will look forward to seeing you next time. And don't forget to do a kind deed, send a letter, send a card, Bake some cookies for someone. Make some jam for your family and share with others. Give a smile. Reach out. Do something good. You will make the world a better place, and you will be so happy. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Push the notification. And if you liked it, the like and a comment I love. And please share with others. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous last week of July. God bless.